Chosen one, listen to me with the deepest corner of your soul. It was never a coincidence that your finger went to this video. The flowing of these words into your mind is destiny itself. Heaven locked the time exactly to this second because the Creator Himself is speaking with you. You know that face that fell like a burning coal into your heart in the brief moment you read the title, right? That is not a figment of imagination. It is not just a coincidence. It is a divine warning sent to you, a sign from the heavens. Do not ever disregard this. Do not push it away with the back of your hand. Because the decision you make in this stormy season has the power to change the entire flow of your destiny. I ask you to open not just your ears, but your soul, because this message carries an eternal weight and purpose far beyond a mundane emotion. God is waking you up. He wants you to see that this is not a simple love, ache, or disappointment, but your divine assignment, your spiritual alignment, and your very future. And remember, the enemy is terrified to death of what will happen as you endure, which is why this message appeared before you exactly today. Now, if these words created a tremor in your soul, seal this moment by pressing that like button. Subscribe so that the words God whispers to you are not lost. And most importantly, cry out to the world by writing 99 in that comment section. 99 is that unforgotten part of the flock left behind, and you are saying, I was not lost, I was found, and I will never, ever give up this cause that God entrusted to me. Chosen one, stay here with me until your last breath, because what you are about to hear will fundamentally shake not only how you view that person, but how you see the fingerprints of God in your life. The real, earth-shaking warning begins now. Engrave this into your heart like an iron spike. God never rolls the dice and gives no room for extras in your life. When your life violently collided with that person's life, it was not a cosmic accident. It was not an ordinary day at all. It was a divine appointment written before the dawn of time, whose ink is dried. Go back and force your memory. Do you remember that first moment your paths were knotted? That uncanny familiarity? That deep glance that surpassed words? And your soul screaming, wake up, this is not ordinary. That moment was heaven's wet signature placed upon this bond that would one day turn into a battlefield. Not because it was worthless, but because it carried an enormous, terrifying purpose. Some people pass by like the wind, leaving only dust behind. But this person is chained to your destiny, an assignment partner tasked to mold you, to grow you by hurting you, and to drag you closer to God's promise. The weight this bond places on your shoulders is not heavy, so unshakable, and so impossible to sever, no matter how much you run, for no reason. Because human hands did not tie this knot, a divine command did. Do not deceive yourself. This is not a cheap romance novel or a romantic tale. This is a matter of pure and sharp purpose. Sometimes God places the keys to doors you cannot open alone into that person's pocket. Sometimes He makes them a mirror, showing you the darkest parts of yourself you try to avoid, so you can confront and grow. It hurts, doesn't it? But know that the enemy sees this design. Even if you do not, he trembles at the power two souls aligned by a divine command will create. And that is precisely why he violently intensifies his attacks, whispering seeds of doubt into your ear in the darkest moment of the night. If this bond had no eternal weight, you would have silently dissolved, turned to dust, and flown away. But the fact that you are still here, still clinging to that person with your soul, despite the storm, is the greatest proof of the reality of the pain and the divine purpose. When God writes a story, its ink can sometimes be blood and tears. Do not ask, why does it hurt so much? It hurts because it is sacred. It hurts because the enemy attacks with all his might for you to give up, because he never spends his energy on a meaningless connection. He only fights what threatens his own kingdom. Open your eyes and wake up. The chaos you are currently in is not a simple disagreement or a game of silence. What you are fighting is not flesh and bone. This is a spiritual siege. That heavy weight pressing on your chest, those sudden whispers of, just give up are not coming from the person across from you, but from the darkness that wants to detach you from your divine mission, your destiny. The enemy does not enter by breaking down your door. He attacks with the patience of water, eroding stone inch by inch, injecting the lie of this woe and work into your mind so that you destroy what God has joined with your own hands. But remember, if you yield to this pressure now and surrender, you will have abandoned not just a person, but the kingdom purpose that bond carries, leaving the front line to the enemy. So stand firm, resist, and do not let the devil write the end of this story. There are battlefronts you must never fight alone, divine burdens you can never carry by yourself. Heaven did not align you with this soul for nothing. If you choose to turn your back and leave during this stormy season, you will abandon not just a person, but the sacred assignment sealed within your unity. The enemy knows this, and his attacks are merciless for this very reason, because he knows that if you endure, the fruits that will emerge will shake his dark kingdom. But if you give up, he will have won the victory without even lifting a single sword. Stop for a moment and remember, how many times did you think it's over and try to leave, but felt that deep, unstoppable ache in the center of your chest, as if an invisible hand was pulling you back? That ache is your soul, recognizing that this fight is not about simple emotions, but about destiny. You feel it in your very bones. This cause is bigger than both of you. Because the enemy is not fighting your relationship, he is fighting the enormous ripple effect that relationship will create if it survives. When two chosen souls lock together in faith, they become a spear that pierces the darkness. They break cursed cycles, they heal bloodlines, and they open doors of blessing for future generations. This is the only reason the enemy desperately struggles to tear you apart before you realize the power you hold in your hands. Chosen one, ask yourself with brutal honesty, is the voice telling me go really from the Creator? Or is it from the darkness trembling at your unity? Because God never speaks the language of fear. He never whispers hopelessness. He never drags you into despair. The shepherd's voice brings peace even while correcting, direction even in the midst of chaos. If the voice you hear is only forcing you to flee, then you must truly discern its source. The enemy is cunning. He mimics logic, uses your emotions as a weapon, and tries to feed you defeat as if it were wisdom. But deep inside, your soul knows the truth. Do not be fooled. The storm raging around you is not proof that your bond is rotten, but proof of how unshakable it is. If this bond were meaningless, the enemy would have left you alone long ago. He does not spend his ammunition on targets that pose no threat. If you are currently under siege, know that this bond carries a colossal weight in the spiritual realm. And if you surrender now, you will have allowed the victory to slip away not only from your relationship, but also from the grand plan God entrusted to you. Here the danger bells are ringing. You do not have the luxury of surrender. Not now, not when the stakes are high enough to shake the heavens. Your endurance is not just about a love story. It is about your obedience to Him who brought this person into your path with a divine intention. If you walk away before dawn, you will never know which doors would have opened had you stayed. But if you clench your teeth and wait, one day you will look back and see that every wound prepared you for a great victory. Let this truth sink in. That unbearable tension you feel is not a sign that you should give up. It is proof of how close you are to the very thing the enemy fears. The attacks are loud because the purpose is much louder. I ask you again, let it echo in your soul. Whose script are you playing out? God's, who weaves your future thread by thread, or the enemy's, who trembles at it? That burden on your shoulders right now, that feeling of abandonment, that ache that makes you question, is it worth it? These are not certificates of failure. These are the medals of the great purpose you carry. Throughout history, battles intensify before every divine ascent. This is not just your path. This is the path of Joseph, David, and Job. Remember Joseph. His dreams promised him leadership, yet he was thrown into a pit, sold as a slave, and fell into prison. But what Joseph could not see in the prison was this: the prison was the stop before the palace. And David? The oil of kingship was poured over his head, yet instead of taking the throne, he lived like a fugitive in caves. Those caves were not punishment, they were a training camp. And Job, when he lost everything, he cried out in the ashes, "Why me?" But his end was a victory that proved his faith was stronger than fire. Do you see the pattern? The prison, the cave, the ashes, ... They were all the final moments of crushing before wearing the crown of victory. Your life is no different. Being in this storm does not mean God has forgotten you. It means quite the opposite. He has chosen you. You are in the darkest, coldest moment before the dawn. And this pressure is the herald that heaven's delivery is at the gate. If Joseph had given up, if David had fled, if Job had cursed God, their destinies would have been incomplete. Do not be incomplete. This trial is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to prove you. When the smoke clears, you will not only have survived, you will have risen as a warrior standing on the very threshold of victory. Remember, if the war is this fierce, the reward awaiting you on the other side must be beyond your imagination. Chosen one, there is a greater danger than the storm outside, and that is the most insidious threat currently standing right next to you: the danger of giving up too soon. Too many promises were confined to destiny, not because God failed, but because his people abandoned the front line one breath before heaven's timing unfolded. You are at that critical crossroads now. The desire to walk away feels heavy, almost logical, almost convincing. But let me cry this out to you with the fire in my voice. If you surrender prematurely, you risk disregarding the moment planted in your destiny that God prepared for you in secret. Think of a seed planted deep in the soil. If you dig it up too early because you see no progress, you choke the miracle about to sprout. This does not mean the celestial dome has abandoned you. God is the master gardener. He works in hidden places first, strengthening the roots before allowing the fruit. The preparation beneath the surface is more real than the stagnation on the surface. Progress in the kingdom is rarely visible at first. Tranquility is not his indifference. Delay is not denial. You may be standing in the waiting room of a miracle, but impatience whispers to you that the door is locked. No, the door is not locked. It simply hasn't opened yet. And if you walk away now, you might have turned back one breath, one step of faith before victory. Let this sentence echo in your soul. The day after you gave up could have been the day of the miracle. The enemy knows this, which is why his most powerful weapon is not always destruction. It is devastating despair. Consider the times in your past when you almost gave up and then something suddenly changed. Those memories are the unshakable proof that he honors loyalty. I warn you now, do not walk away from what God is still building. The silence you hear is not emptiness. It is construction. The waiting you endure is not punishment. It is preparation. The pain you feel is not proof of failure. It is proof that something alive is beneath the surface, pushing upward, ready to burst forth. And the enemy is terrified of this explosion. You were not chosen to quit. You were chosen to endure. You were chosen to ride out the storm, to wait through the silence, and to stand firm until the earth splits and the fruit emerges. Do not let impatience write the end of a story God has not finished. Do not exchange a century-long mission for temporary tranquility. Now that you understand the immense weight of this connection and why the war is so intense, it is time to learn how to fight. You are summoned by heaven into an active struggle, but not with human weapons. The war for what God has given you is spiritual, and only those who choose to use his tools will see victory. Your first step is intentional, consistent, targeted prayer. This is not the shallow kind, just words spoken routinely. It is the fervent plea that clings to heaven and refuses to let go until the breakthrough comes. Every day, bring that person before the Lord. Instead of repeating the problems in your mind, speak blessings over them. Declare life where the enemy whispers death. Declare clarity where confusion is sown. Declare healing where wounds linger. Because when you shift your focus from complaint to divine declaration, you partner with heaven instead of feeding the enemy's lies. Secondly, resist the urge to fight with your mouth. Arguments, accusations, and endless disputes will never build what God has commanded. Words can be weapons, but when spoken in anger, they cut deeper than intended. The real war is not won by shouting across the table. It is won on your knees, with whispers of intercession that echo like thunder in the spiritual realm. When you bow before God, you rise with an authority no argument can ever achieve. Remember, the enemy does not tremble when you shout, but when you truly pray. Thirdly, you must learn to trust God's timing even in the silence. Silence is not absence. Silence is pure strategy. Think of a general in the middle of a battle. Sometimes he does not reveal his next move until the exact moment it is needed. God is the same. He may not show you everything right now because he is working behind the scenes, orchestrating changes in the other person, healing wounds you cannot see, shifting conditions you cannot control. If you demand answers too quickly, you risk getting ahead of his perfect design. Patience is not weakness. It is the greatest battle. Waiting in faith is one of the most powerful weapons you possess because it declares that you trust heaven's clock more than your own. But here is the shaking revelation that must set your soul on fire. You are not fighting alone. Though the battle feels heavy, the Creator himself is on your side. He is not a distant observer. He is involved in this war, fighting for you, with you, and ahead of you. God's angels surround those who remain faithful. The presence of the Almighty is your steel shield. When you choose endurance over surrender, you align yourself with a heavenly army that darkness can never overcome. So ask yourself honestly, what kind of story do you want your life to tell? A legacy of surrender, the one who walked away when the fire was hottest, who let discouragement steal what heaven had given. Or an epic of faith, the one who fought when it was hardest, who stood firm when it felt most lonely, who believed even when nothing made sense, and who, through that faith, saw impossibilities yield to belief. Chosen one, the weapons are in your hands. Every prayer you release is a blow against the enemy. Every moment of patience is an act of rebellion against the forces trying to force you to quit early. And every declaration of trust is a challenge thrown to the skies, shouting, "I will not retreat until I see what God has promised." And thus, I leave you on the edge of a question only you can answer. When the war is over, when the dust settles, when the story is finally told, will yours be a testimony of defeat, or the testimony of a conqueror who fought alongside heaven and saw impossibilities kneel to faith? Chosen one, hear me now. This is not the end. This is only a chapter, and the best pages of your story have not been written yet. What you feel today is not a grave. It is a threshold. What looks like collapse is actually the millisecond before the great breakthrough. Restoration is coming. Healing is on the way. Purpose is unfolding even now. So I declare this upon you like a fire in your bones. Do not reject this person. Do not let go. What God has joined together, no earthly power, no dark whisper, no plan from hell can separate. Stand firm. The promise is alive. The purpose is real, and your story is not over. And now, I call you to a prophetic act of faith. Go to the comments and write these words with full authority. I will not give up. Write it as a decree. Write it as a declaration that shakes the heavens. Because when you write those words, you are not just leaving a comment, you are sealing your decision in heaven itself. The victory is yours.